breath because, quite frankly, ever since I got the call about the Schwab family, you have to consider the fact that this is an epidemic that's going on all across this country. There is a kids for cash problem, and you have to understand that as legal medical marijuana patients, even though we're legal in various states, on a national level, on a federal level, we're seen as criminals. And that has to stop. And when you look at the fact that we call it CPS where we're from, it's Child Protection Services here, DCF. And what they do is they take these children, they kidnap these children basically because their departments get bonuses for all of the children that they place into foster care. And you know what? They're not giving the children back. That's a very big problem. Now let's talk about the fact that Raymond is a veteran. Okay, do you have any idea how many veterans are coming back to this country with, where they've lost their limbs, they have phantom limb pain, they have neurological damage, they have severe PTSD to the point where we're losing our veterans at a record rate because you know what? We're not taking care of our veterans when they come back. Now let's talk about the people who've lost their arms, their legs, or they have chronic pain issues from being injured. One of the first things the doctors do is they prescribe opiates. The big problem in our country right now is opiate addiction. People are dying at the rate of 1 every 19 minutes from opiate addiction. So the doctors are readily available to write scripts for oxycodone, oxycontin, all kinds of painkillers that use opiates. But then when that prescription runs out, a lot of them go to heroin. And heroin right now is the biggest epidemic in our country. Do we really want to see our veterans go through this and not take care of them? No, I don't think so. I can show you studies. There was a little girl by the name of Alex Hill. I don't know how many of you know about this case, but she was a 2-year-old that was removed from her family. They were medical marijuana patients. She was placed in foster care, and she was murdered by her foster care family. Now, we've already heard tales of children being raped, children being molested and abused in every which way imaginable. And I can also show you psychological studies that can prove that children are in far greater danger being placed in foster care and losing that bond with their families. They suffer psychological damage truly for their entire lives after that. Is that really what we want for our children? No, I don't think so. So when I got the call, I'm a firm believer, there's that saying, put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I don't care if you're a right-wing conservative or liberal, I don't really care about your politics. But when you think about it as parents and as mothers, I haven't been able to sleep myself this whole time because I can't imagine having my kids ripped from my arms. And when I see this and I see these absolutely beautiful children, I can't even imagine the pain that they're going through because I can guarantee you that the government is brainwashing them to believe that their parents are in some way bad. And these are not bad parents, Well, I wanted to just say the biggest issue that we're dealing with here is the conflict between federal and state law. Where he's a legal patient in Colorado, you can literally walk down the street smoking a joint and it's not a problem. Let's talk about the differences in laws between these neighbor states. Colorado is fully legal. They have generated more tax revenue than they can even deal with. They've not only generated enough tax revenue to pay for all of their infrastructure, their veterans care programs, their after school programs, but they had a $5 million surplus where they actually gave back money.
Yes.
Now, cross state lines to some of these neighboring places, what is completely legal in Colorado, you can cross a state line between one of the neighboring states and face 15 years to life in prison. Let me give you another example. Me being here, I am at risk of being arrested right now. Do you want to know why? Because I'm a legal medical marijuana patient also, but marijuana, even though I haven't used marijuana in like 4 days since I've been here, and it stays in your system for 30 full days. So if I leave here right now and one of the cops here want to make an example out of me, I could be arrested for DUI even though I am perfectly sober. There is no cannabis in my system other than the residual from 4 days ago. I'm certainly not impaired in any way. But if I got busted here, I could face 15 years to life in prison for being an out-of-state person coming here. The rules and the laws are completely unjust. So what I wanted to do in coming here is we're here to do a lot of discovery to form a strategy on how to take this story on a national level, because I feel that this particular case could change case law across the entire country, because it's absolutely ludicrous. You look at the fact there's what, 24, 25, 26 states now that are legal. They're falling like dominoes. Why is this happening? Why are patients here facing such severe sentences? It's absolutely ridiculous. So I came here, number one, to get to know the family, get to know Jennifer, and get to know the people of Kansas. And I work in the national media. I appear regularly on CNN, CNBC, Fox Business News, reporting on the business of cannabis. And in the business world, I've raised over $600 million to build businesses. But what happens is a lot of these corporations, they forget about the people, because at the end of the day, it's about the people. And if we don't stay true to our grassroots activism and come out and support patients, because at the end of the day, not only is it a drug war, but this is really a war between the rich and the poor. And the people who are suffering are the people who are poor. You know, and that has to stop. Somebody has to stand up for these people, and that's why I'm here. I've generated over $1 billion worth of earned media so far to date in my campaign for activism, and using the media as a platform to tell these stories, because I don't care what your politics are. When you hear these stories and the pain and the suffering that these children are going through, you've got to listen, and it touches your heart. No human being would want to see children suffer in that way, and these families suffer that way. And when I see cases like little Alex Hill, the 2-year-old who got murdered, she was murdered by her foster parents. We can never let that happen again. So I'm here to generate as much excitement and empowerment as I can to empower people of Kansas and other states to come out of the closet. And you know what? When I look at the fact that social media and true grassroots activism has overturned bad governments in multiple countries all around the world, we can also empower our grassroots and the people that are behind the scenes that are afraid to come out. We can empower them, and I truly believe in my heart that if we who are on the right sides of the law, if we continue to fight, I believe that we can change policy on a federal level. And I'm here, I'm in this to win it, and I'm going to stand by this family however long they'll have me, and I'm not going to stop until we accomplish our mission. And our mission is to get these kids back. Now, one of the very first things that we had talked about when I heard about Raymond's hunger strike, again, heartbreaking. I couldn't sleep. I've been on the phone constantly calling as many people as I can. I reached out to Matt Pappas, who is a civil rights attorney in Los Angeles. He's on his way now, and he has drafted a federal document to help Raymond, and we're planning on filing that at some point today, possibly tomorrow. I'm assuming it will be today. But we're going to help guide him along the way to try to get these children back immediately, but not stop at the end of the hunger strike, not stop at even when we get the kids back.